What is going on, Lunatic Fringe? The best possible news for Luna Classic, well, maybe the second best possible news for Luna Classic, is happening right now, and I'm going to explain it to you. I hope that you agree, because in the event that we're right here, and this is the moment we've been kind of waiting for, then the reality is we could finally see some of that exit type move where Luna Classic finally breaks out, finally gets a little bit of headwind going in its direction, and this whole market starts to really soar. Now, we've talked about global liquidity. We've talked about what it takes for an altcoin season. We've talked about all these things. They're all happening right now. So now the question is, will the United States and will the tariff wars, will all of the pieces fall out of place instead of in place so that we actually get this pump that we're looking for? Okay. Now, make sure you hit the like button on the way in. Let's talk about it. Before we get started, Trobits, they're a partner of the channel. They burned 168,000 Terra Luna Classic yesterday, and look at what they've been burning for the last little while. You've been seeing some of the record burns so far this month. This has been a nice start to the month. We want to see this keep going. So for you, the most important thing that you can do to help out, if you are a Luna Classic fan or a Shiba Inu fan for that matter, if you want to help and contribute, then this is very simple. You don't have to do anything more than come to the website and just engage with the content. Read this article about CZ joining Pakistan's crypto council. Read this about the $85,000 surge for Bitcoin. Read the daily brief. Read what happened over the weekend. Get engaged with some of the articles on this page, and guess what? You too will contribute to burns, and those burns are going to go a long way towards reducing the overall supply of Terra Luna Classic. This is one of the biggest burners currently out here right now, and if you help, then it's going to get even. Make sure you go to Trobits.com today. All right, now before we get started, there was an issue that came up, and that was Mantra. Yesterday, OM, which is Mantra, fell 88 or 87% in one fell swoop. And most people, doinks, idiots, morons, they said, oh, they're bug pulling it, what's going on. That's the way they talk in my brain, because they didn't fact check, they didn't research, they didn't do anything. Here's what ended up happening. First of all, it should be noted, Mantra is one of the more unfavorable cryptos when it comes to trading, because 90% of the supply was locked up into the top 6 wallets. That is an inordinate amount that's at the top. Now, the reason for that was because some early investors got in and they got a majority of the supply, and they're big time holders. Well, somebody who was holding somebody was holding a huge amount, let's just say a huge amount. Somebody's holding a huge amount, got a forced liquidation on a centralized exchange. Now, the centralized exchange was not revealed in the conversation with Mantra and their CEO, but because he didn't want to get them involved in it, but here's what he said. He said that he feels like this was an attack on Mantra, not directly, but because this guy had so much leverage put in on Mantra, because he believed the hype on Mantra. And to be fair, when you look at what it was doing over here, like, it was having a pretty good run. This thing is gone from, if you went long at 2 cents and you came all the way up to $6, again, if you from 2 cents all the way up to $6, you would have been, this would have been one of the biggest wins that anybody's ever had in history. So if that is the case, then it would stand to reason that somebody out there did not want to pay that out. So what you ended up getting was, what I'm to understand is, a centralized exchange was slowly but surely buying up OM on the market in order to sell off onto that, create a panic, and wick it down here to liquidate this person for in the neighborhood of $1 billion, something like that, some ridiculous number. So that's what I'm to understand happened and is going on with Mantra. Now, you don't claw that back, by the way. That's a holder who had his money, like, he trusted a centralized exchange. I don't know which one again. They basically scam wicked it and liquidated that person. Also, there were some people who had $6 million worth of Mantra, and at one point it was down to 200,000 last night. Now, let's also consider that it came back up to $1.15 after that little buyback. And so this breakdown, we're going to see whether there's some thirst for Mantra going forward. But the reason that I bring this up is because you might see over the next little while some conversation that this wick right here was representative of the same thing that was happening with Terra Luna Classic. And I want to assure you guys that none of what's happening right now is the same thing. This is an entirely different scenario. So as you hear it during the day, it will, and it should probably come up. These two things are nothing alike. This was a forced liquidation event from a centralized exchange, we're to understand, and not the collapse of an ecosystem. So interesting times. So Mantra, I'll be watching out for that, and you'll see that appears eerily similar to what Terra Luna witnessed after its 99% crash. That's not even close to what's happening. Again, these are uninformed people just doing idiot stuff because they see a down wick and they're like, oh, it might be the ding ding. So just bear that in mind. Now, as far as the rest of it goes, it looks like we're going to pass the phased approach to USTC on-chain liquidity, so that works pretty well. Now we've got this clarification on entities with Terra Classic branding. This proposal officially clarifies Luna Classic LLC or similar have no affiliation. So this is trying to clarify, and you can see right here that, again, vote your conscience on whatever and validate with the people who support what you think. I don't think that it requires clarification on any of these. Does it mean that they should or shouldn't do it? Look, you can do whatever you want to do. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. This one is a big nothing burger to me, but it is important. It looks like to Vegas, who's voting yes on it. I'm not sure the purpose here. Again, you have to come in here to Commonwealth, and then you have to go through this and really see. The recent establishment of Luna Classic LLC by the entity Luna Classic DAO has raised concerns within the community due to potential confusion stemming from the similarity of its name with Terra Classic blockchain governance. Look, you can't, I understand where this is coming from, but this is too much. You can't govern this kind of stuff. What this is just another level of control over people in a decentralized environment. And while I am first of all, one of the biggest proponents for a steering committee for a group of people who have the ability to make decisions, low-level decisions, to manage daily involvement in the chain, and I do think that it should be some of the biggest people in this space. So I think that we need a steering committee to try to move us and continue to push us in that right direction. I don't think we need to have control like this. This is just, this is where you socialize and centralize the entirety of the process here when you start to govern this way. So I don't think that this is going to pass. I don't think this is a good idea, but you vote your conscience and then you validate with whomever it is that you think best supports your belief system in this regard. As far as meme coins go, down a little bit on the day, and that really comes down to Luna Classic down about $25, really. Everything else seems to be basically about dead even with where we were before. Fun down just a little bit. Remember, again, this was all $25, so Fun down just a little bit over here. And rest of it looks like it's just kind of holding up pretty well. Not a lot of movement, positive nor negative so far. As to the price action, here we are. What I told you was going to happen is still playing out, and we should still consider that that's going to happen until such time as it starts to not happen. Now, the reason why I think is very, very, very important is this right here. It's that on-chain, this is the global liquidity index. This is the capital flowing into the market. And you see, for anybody to see this move right here play out right here is an indication of what comes next. This move right here is happening right now. So when this move does happen, then this is the chance for the breakout, right? So global liquidity is flowing back into markets. It's going up, up, up and away, by the way, at this point. Even though, we've seen some dumps in the U.S. market, stuff like that. We have seen that. We've seen some dumps in other markets. when you look at it, like for example, the Dow Jones having a little bit of recovery, not completely, but a little bit of recovery. But as you come down here and you start to look at the Japanese index, until a couple days ago, this was and it had the same sell-off that we had, way back when in 2020. Like it's been following the markets as well. And then you had this big sell down that happened. This was the trade problem. This is the situation with trade and the uncertainty and stuff like that. And that's really kind of corresponding with, this little level of sell-off that was happening over here. And now it's time for all the markets to have it pumped back in. European market, again, same thing. Like all of this money was coming into the market, and then, this kind of event, if you will, sort of happened. So ultimately what it means is that the money is flowing into the market right now. And that being the case, then I would suspect that we're going to see this move right now from Luna Classic over the next couple of weeks. Now, along with that is going to be the retest for USTC. And the question right now would be, what happens with USTC? Well, again, you've got this massive move with liquidity flowing into the market. The question is whether or not it's going to come into USTC. And the answer to that is going to be not exactly. I mean, it will, but the one thing that we have to remember is we are a speculative asset. And look, we're a functioning, working blockchain, but that's been repaired, if you will. But, again, the shine kind of wore off because there was a lot of pieces that were in place that fell out of place. So people are a little bit nervous. So what do they need? Well, they need a little bit of money in order to make a little bit of risk. And where does that come from? That comes from Ethereum. Now, what's happening with Ethereum? Ethereum has broken way, way, way down. So this is what we've seen from Ethereum right now, all the way to the bottom. This move right here, catastrophic when you look at it. Just a crazy, crazy, crazy move from that all-time high. It's happening right now, but the reversal is in. Seems like we found this bottom here, 1384, and now we've got this reversal coming. We're up 5% today. We're starting to see movement. This could be a sign that somebody, an insider, somebody's understanding that there's going to be an Ethereum ETF that allows staking coming very, very soon. If any number of things could be happening in the background, or could just be time. Just could be time for the market to say that this is the moment, right? Well, the other thing is Solana is doing the same thing. It's at $134 right now, and it was down just a few short minutes ago to $95. So there's a lot of there's a lot of opportunity right here in these markets, and the opportunity has to come to Solana and Ethereum first, in my opinion. Most specifically, Ethereum. We need Ethereum to pop. We need to see Ethereum really start to take hold and come back at least into this golden zone right here. That's going to be between 2,750 and 3,050. So we get in that range right there, then we'll be doing something, and then I think you're going to see a lot of money flowing into this market. Now, if we get the breakout that I've been looking for from Ethereum, we get up here to the 4,000 level, we get into that range, then yeah, we're going to have a big season. And then the last time, remember this, the last time that Ethereum was at 4,100, that was December of 2024, where was Luna Classic at that point? Luna Classic was at 1776. So it's basically academic at this point. We get a run from Ethereum, we're going to get a run ourselves. We're going to get an easy 3 or 4 or 5x just off of this, and I think that it's starting to happen right now. So, again, this is just about that global liquidity flowing in and filling out this. There's the move. I mean, guys, look, this is very specific. It's this. It's the bottom over here. It's this upward move, that upward move right there. Are we in that upward move right there? And I know, look, I'm simplifying this, or at least I think I'm simplifying this for you. But when this money flows in, it will flow in, and it will take us to a new level. Now, by the way, this line right here does not match up with this line up here. Like for these purposes, that's not the Fibonacci has nothing to do with global flow. It just happens to be set up that way because I was doing this. So, that part doesn't matter. What matters is that flow and the amount of time for the flow. So we look at the flow of money coming in from January 1st until right here, and that's 94 days. So there's a lot of days with a lot of flow coming in that we're going to experience over the next bunch of days. So now the question is, how does the Dow Jones do? How does the SPY do? How does the US dollar do over the next little while? if all of those things start to really sort of heal themselves, then Luna Classic, you're about to see Luna Classic really sort of break out. And again, same thing with USTC. I would expect to see it sort of break out too. The upside, I think USTC has the potential for the most upside on this run, simply because I think there's going to be a lot of work towards fixing some of the USTC issues. I think that's just going to be academic at this point, that the next time we get that money flowing in, that USTC just has a little bit better breakout. If you guys remember, I split my holding in that one wallet between the two of them right now because I think USTC is going to rip a little bit more. And when I see that big spike in USTC, I'm going to flip it back over to Luna Classic. Okay, so the flow for money, not liking it. I'll we'll keep saying this every day. I don't like the way the money is flowing right there, but LUNC is trading at 4.055, is showing signs of building upward momentum. If this trend continues, it could potentially reach the 3.01 level. And this is true. But again, remember, the last time we were at this level, we were talking about a much bigger pump. So the 3.01 level, yes, but more likely 3.02 is going to be that next move. And that's going to be about a 3x from where we are right now. So that's what I would predict is probably in the chamber right now. But we get to the top of that range, it could break out even bigger. Like, that's the important part to it. It's about getting it up into that higher zone. And, I don't know that we can get there, but I know we can. So we'll see what happens there. USTC, kind of same thing. I don't think anything's fundamentally changed. They're moving in lockstep with one another right about now. Again, I think the USTC breakout is going to be a little bit bigger than the Luna Classic breakout, and I think USTC could be the one that does it first. And I'm risking on that, which is why I bought the bag of USTC. I do think that, again, there's a narrative that's going to be out there that I think will hit USTC, maybe run it up to 4 or 5 cents, something like that. And Rocco, I think Rocco kind of understands, so I wanted to bring this to you. Like, he's pointing out, the longer Bitcoin holds above 80,000, the likelier this is the bottom candle on Luna Classic. What we've seen, and by the way, we're holding near the bottom more than Bitcoin or anything like that. So there is a weakness that we do have to go through and that we're experiencing right now compared to Bitcoin. And I don't have a fix for that. That fix is going to come from a plan of action, some execution of a repeg. There are pieces that should be in place by now that are not in place, that are going to prohibit it from, while I say it's easy 3 or 4x in this next little cycle here, and it could lead to an altcoin season, and then we could just see a crazy spike. The more likely scenario is that we're going to need a little bit more attraction there. We're going to need to get the right thing in the right place. And, look, right now, today, we might not be able to make that argument. Really, we might not be able to make that argument that we're, getting ready to soar. But that's really about just one single narrative. If we get in the right place, we get a 3x from where we are right now. Let's just say that we get a 3 or 4x from where we are right now. We're sitting at 3.02. We're feeling pretty good about it. And then guess what happens? Then we get an announcement that, guess what? We have figured out a repeg, and we're going to start burning on chain immediately, and we're voting on it. Well, then, if it's the right time and people are speculating, they're going to be like, oh my God, this could really happen. There could be a revival, and that money will start to flow back in. So then we could see 10, 20, 30, 40x in speculative money coming in. USTC, again, I don't see USTC going beyond, what was the top over there, 7.6 cents, something like that. I don't see it going beyond that. But that's what I would think. If we get the right announcement, the right time, just takes over the space. Terra Pump could be that thing, as a matter of fact. Guys, remember, over here, we've got, we're at 3.47 cents. So by the way, if you haven't bought any of the Believe token right now, we're trying to unbond. We're trying to get all of these things out of that bonding process. P's are up here at 6.8. So they're doubling me. Ew, that's gross. Anyway, we've unbonded Blame and Rakeoff. And we've got Neil kind of sitting out here too. But this takes you guys actually engaging with this stuff and actually getting out here and unbonding some of these and getting them out into the wild. Because I'm going to tell you, this right here, the success of TerraPump.fun, this is how you attract people. And if you guys, in all honesty, if you guys are not doing it, and validators are not out here doing it, and people are not out here engaging with this content, and they're not out here doing anything with it, then guess what? There's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. So buy yourself some Believe. Buy yourself. And by the way, buy any one of them. I don't want you to. You know, I'm not. I'm not a developer to the point. This is a meme coin. That's all it is. That's you know what I mean. So make sure that if you are buying. And by the way, I've made the last couple of buys. If you want to come down here, you can see I made a buy right here. $5, a buy right here for $12, a buy right here for $6.30. Like I'm just buying little bits as I go. If we get another pump, then I'll pull a little bit back out or something like that. You know what I mean? But I want to start that platform, and hopefully if we've got that platform and we've got that bounce area and that bounce zone, I mean, I want you to look at this. Again, I'm not giving you this as a speculative asset that you're going to make a bunch of money off of. I'm not, because I don't think that's the case, okay? But, you know, at some point, all of this ecosystem is going to take off, and if it does, then the next move on this, which by the way, you look down here and it's, you know, it's kind of making this path. So the next by all rights area right here would be into that 10-cent range, and that's about a 3x from where it is. And guys, if you just if we just go for it just a little bit, then guess what? Then this is with any of them, by the way. This is with any of them. But you know, you guys buy in just a little bit, and guess what? We unbond. And this is going to be great for the community. It's going to be great for the community because it will be proof that these things work and that you guys are dedicated, et cetera, et cetera. Like, you know, if you guys take the risk, then guess what? Then the market rewards you. But if you guys just sit there and you don't buy any of these meme coins and stuff like that, and again, it doesn't have to be Believe, but you know, if you don't buy any of these meme coins, then guess what? Then they're not going to unbond. Nobody's going to find them successful, and nobody's going to show up. And guys, if you remember, I mean, what happened to Pump.Fun? What did Pump.Fun do for Solana? Pump.Fun launched right over here around $80 when Solana was about $80, and it ran it up. It got so much attention, it ran it all the way up to $295. Wouldn't you like to see something like that happening for Luna Classic? I mean, you can't have that happen unless there's something that we have a platform that's successful. You know, I'd like to say that they could take credit for the gigantic move, but that's not true. It was actually in the $80 range that, you know, that's when the launch started to happen. That was the presets when we, you know, started to recognize it was getting ready to happen. And then it caused just a massive 3x, okay? It caused a massive 3x in the bear part of the market. Like we're not at the bull run yet. So you got this gigantic test, if you will. And guess what? Pump.Fun down 90%. Solana down 66% in a short period of time. Like, you know, we have to point out how catastrophic this dump is. I mean, that's 67% right there. You can see it on the, so Pump.Fun had a huge influence on running that price up. Now, Solana was unable to sustain that price action, but it launched at 80 and it's currently sitting at 134. It's up 80% from where it was at the bottom. So, and even if you consider that it launched at $80, the wick down here to the bottom was still somewhere in the neighborhood of about 100. So it was still 25% higher. The floor is now 25% higher than it was at that time. So, you know, if we make something good happen with TerraPump.Fun, then guess what? The end result of this would be people will show up and people will do it. Now, what then happened? You know, then you have to have, we're looking at a different paradigm. What's the new paradigm? New paradigm would be, what about building on the network, right? What about, we need people to easily be able to get these meme coins. So how do we do that? Well, we gotta have a wallet or wallets. Then we have Happy Caddy Crypto's wallet out here. Everybody's talking about that. Then we have, you know, whatever pieces there are that we can put in place to make it easier for people to get to the Luna Classic chain. There you go. And then what else is happening at the same time? USDC. So the USDC, if we get a little pool about here to establish on-chain liquidity for USDC, then guess what? We're rebuilding a lot of this stuff here for people to come over here and play. And, you know, the question is, will it work? I mean, it's going to work better than Tron, because Tron was a disaster when we tried to run meme coins over there. But, you know, this could be the start of something, but it's not going to be unless you guys are buying them. Again, you don't have to buy Believe, but you do have to get involved in some of these meme coins and show people that there is capital to be made, that there is some risk out here. And if there is, then guess what? There's going to be reward. That's the way that it works. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. It's not financial advice, but I'm always right.